basically gave the intro maybe a little bit more lively than I would, but we appreciate that. But let me introduce Travarus Bennett for you. Give him a warm welcome.
Well, they set me up for that one. Have me following Coach Thorson. That's a tough follow-up. But what I will say, I have my phone here just as an outline to go over, to cover things, make sure, I kind of hit all the tabs or all the buttons that you guys may be curious of me. First and foremost, Happy New Year to all of you guys. Hopefully you all got a chance to spend it with your family, friends, loved ones, period. And hopefully everyone's is healthy. That's the most important thing. All right. As Thorson said, I'm Travarus Bennett. I played here from 2000 to 2002. I came from a junior college out in West Plains, Missouri. Grew up down in Mississippi. Finished high school. I didn't qualify on my ACT. I committed to LSU originally. Didn't qualify. Ended up going JUCO, Southwest Missouri State. There's pluses and minuses to that. The pluses is I had a coach that didn't play no games. When I say that, I mean he taught me discipline as far as like practice habits, being on time for practice. Ridiculous. It was so hard for us, to be honest with you. I know every player for sure after a week or two called home and said, "Mom or Dad, I can't do this. There's something is wrong with this coach," because he never let up. He never let up. Even when you had a great game, team, individually, whatever. No matter what was done, he always pick out. And I say pick out now, but he just didn't want you to get comfortable from what you just did. Maybe you did score 20 points. If you scored 20 points and had 50 rebounds, he would probably still say, "Well, he should have had 51 rebounds." Yeah, he was that type of coach. And also, he was one of those guys that, again, some of you probably know, you play. Once you leave a program or you leave a coach, then you realize how good they were or how much they did care. With that being said, I ended up being recruited by the U. And what was funny about that, they was actually recruiting my roommate, which was a point guard. He was the second ranked point guard in the country at the time. And literally a couple weeks before that, a couple weeks before he made a decision to go elsewhere, the Gophers came down, Coach Walker came down to see him. And we were watching the game actually against Indian Hills. Indian Hills had a really good wing player, Corey Hightower, and I had the task of guarding him that night. So, needless to say, Corey Hightower's night was kind of ruined a little bit, and it kind of had Coach Walker got to notice me on that game, and actually, literally, the next week, Kerwin Fleming ended up signing with the U because he was the #1 rated point guard out of JUCO. And so my JUCO point guard ended up going somewhere else. And once I heard they signed Kerwin, I remember him from the top 40 camp. We played in the top 40 camp in JUCO together. That's the preseason camp where the top 40 JUCO players play in Missouri, in Lindenwood, Missouri. At that time, now this is 20 years ago. I don't know what they do now. But anyways, once that decision was made, it kind of helped me with my decision on coming here. I did have a visit set up for Purdue and Texas Tech and Kansas State actually, but I don't know what it was. Once I took my visit here, when I got back, I couldn't stop thinking about it. I didn't even take my other visits. I called my coach at the time and had him to call around to see what were those penalties at the time. That era right before I came, everyone knows that era what was going on. So asked him how would that affect me, if any. It wouldn't affect me. So I literally canceled my visit to Texas Tech, which was that next weekend, and decided to come to the U, which was weird. Meaning, I'm from the South. All right, I took my visit here in April. Yes, I got conned, okay? But like seriously, Coach Munson used to always say, it was his joke. I swear, guys, when I recruited Travarus, he was 6'8", He say I'm 6'8" in the summer and I'm 5'8" in the winter. Because I used to literally walk around camping. I couldn't believe how cold it was. Another one on that. This is funny when I even think about it. The first real big snow, I remember looking out of my window, my dorm room window. I lived in Wilkins, right across from the frat houses and all that. So I look out of my window, snowing, going down. I'm talking about, for me, that was a lot of snow. Buses, everybody still going. I called Coach. I said, Coach, are we supposed to go to class today? And he goes, no. He goes, well, yeah, why you say that? I go, look outside. He's like, and? I'm like, oh my God. So for me, down south, when you have stuff like that, it's shutting down for 2 weeks, maybe. You know, that was a rude awakening for me. But I'm glad I made that decision to come here. And I was just talking to the guys at the table. Once I left, I said to my mom, I would never move back to Minnesota. You know, I had great friends, great people, but it was the weather. But again, look where I am. You know, I'm back here. Now, I did come back to finish, but I also came back because this is kind of where I kind of grew up as well. I lived in, like I said, West Plains, Missouri for 2 years. And if you go to West Plains, Missouri, you're only going for basketball, if you know that area. It's in the Ozark area. And when I say there was nothing to do, there was nothing to do. We literally, and I'm not exaggerating, we literally, when we did have time off, we would drive our cars, make a circle around Sonic, come back to the dorm, sit down for a little while, and let's make the circle again. That was the highlight in West Plains. But no, and then coming here though, in all seriousness, I've met so many former players, older and younger. We still, like, sometimes you're running to some guy, you're like, oh, you know, you hadn't seen him forever. And I'm definitely one of those guys that some people even forgot I even played here, you know, because I wasn't, you know, I'm not a big, I don't like attention. I know Keith has been trying to get me to come here for a little while. I'm like, I just don't like, you know, talking in front of a big crowd. And yes, I know it sounds crazy, but most of us are former players. We can play in front of 100,000 people, but can't talk in front of 2. You know what I mean? So I don't understand that dynamic. I can only attribute that to that basketball court was like a safe haven for all of us. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys will step on it. Ladies too. Let me apologize when I say guys and man. I have a problem saying that being from down south. And the reason I'm apologizing, I ordered a pizza 2 weeks ago. And the lady, she was asking me something about, and I said, oh man, let me get so-and-so and so-and-so. And then I was like, oh man, let me do, and I finished my order and she goes, can I ask you a question? I'm like, yeah, what's going on? She goes, do I sound like a man to you? I'm like, no, I wasn't thinking. I'm like, no, why did you say that? You know, she's like, you keep calling me a man. And I was like, no, I apologize, and I explained to her why those words was coming out. So again, I apologize if I say man or guy. I'm talking to everyone, okay? I apologize to the women, all right? But yeah, like I was saying, meeting the former players and going out catching games with them. One of my best friends still today is Kerwin Fleming. You know, every other weekend we're gonna catch a Vikings game or a Wolves game, or like last month we flew out to catch. He's a Bears fan. We flew out to watch the Bears and the Cardinals game. So that's always fun. You know, you have tons of others that are around. And as far as playing goes, that was my first year was kind of rough. Many of you probably don't know. The very first practice, I was guarding JB Bickerstaff on the wing. He goes back door, and if any of you know Jeff Hagan, he literally does. He's the greatest guy ever. He doesn't try to hurt anybody, but he hurts everybody. You know what I mean? And it's not intentionally. Like, he could just literally walk in this room and I swear he's gonna hurt me. Well, back then, I'm not gonna say now. Back then, he can walk and zigzag through this room and somebody would be injured, you know? But that's what happened. I was guarding back JB, and he went back door, and as he was going back door, I ran, and Hagan, instead of setting the screen like we're taught, he was like this, and he kind of cracked my sternum. you know. So for a while, and we were talking about like different sites where fans or supporters, they kind of are on the team. I was that player too. I thought this recruit was supposed to be a shooter and do this. Well, I was wearing a flak jacket. I can't shoot. I didn't even practice. I was just literally, I get minutes, spurts here, but I couldn't lift my arms really. I literally wore, I don't know if you guys remember, I wore exactly what a quarterback would wear. All of that. My arms were strapped. I could rebound a little bit, but I couldn't move. So I would have to play spurts. Now, towards the end of the season, I got better, and I had Raj, great guy, had this plate where I could just wear this plate. Now I can lift. So I started shooting at the end, and it would literally crush me sometimes to read that, it was gopher hole, read the gopher hole. They were bashing me. I was like, wow, I can't, nobody really knows what's going on, you know? So that's why my senior year was a big difference. I should have redshirted my junior year, I think, you know? But I didn't. I wanted to play and to help the team. At that time, we had a lot of players that were injured. A lot of people had left, so we needed players that can play multiple positions. Being that my first ever start here with the Gophers was at Michigan at center. My senior year, I was starting two guard. You know what I mean? So I was one of those players that would play everywhere. It didn't matter. I just wanted to win. Yeah. So my junior year, I was so happy to get that over and get ready to hit the weight room with Coach Rhodey. And it's actually so funny that I'm talking before this Purdue game because all that summer I just thought about Purdue and Wisconsin. Because for me, they weren't, now that I see it, they wasn't playing dirty. But God, they were physical. You know, Purdue and Wisconsin, those are Big Ten teams. They introduced me to the Big Ten. When you play against, Michigan State was physical, but for me, they were not like Purdue and Wisconsin, you know? And it was so funny that I came to talk for this game, and I hope we crush them. I still today kind of hate Purdue. I was recruited by them as well. Another story on that. We played at Purdue, and after the game, I don't know, something wrong with the flight or the bus or whatever. And first of all, they put us in a pink locker room, you know. So after the game, this coach that was recruiting me, we were passing and we were going to the locker. He nudged me. See, I told you should have came to Purdue. You know, now your plane doesn't work, or bus. It was something like that. You know. But anyways, going up to my senior year, like I said, I didn't know I would be at the 2 spot. I kind of thought I would be at the 3 spot, but we had some off the court issues with one of the players. Who was a really good player. Just so it's just so bad that he kind of went down the wrong road, and from what I've been hearing, a lot of it has to do with mental health. He was a really good guy. I used to battle him a lot in practice, especially when he used to start scoring a lot. My junior year, he used to start scoring a lot. Terrence Simmons used to come to me. Everyone calls me Tico, guard him, since he's talking, so he wouldn't score anymore, you know. But anyways, I didn't think about going playing the 2 spot, but like I said, this guy ended up getting kicked off the team, and then I was moved over to the 2. Had a really good year my senior year. I think I was like 10 points or 9.5 points a game. Honorable mention, Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. I led us in steals, led the Big Ten Conference in steals, and was second in 3-point shooting. And it was all my defensive skill or ability. It was solely on effort, though. I was never like the fastest on the team. I never jumped the highest or was the strongest of any of that. But I hated to get scored on because, you know, for me, there was 2 things. And when I was growing up as a kid, in high school, when you got scored on, it seemed like the crowd, it just got quiet and they would scream like, "Ooh," you know, I hated that. And secondly, doing video, the coaches are gonna tear you apart. You know, we know that everybody hates to be the one getting pointed out on that video. And I was one of those types. I hated that. So it was for me, I just played really intense. Definitely studied the scouting reports. If the coach said this guy goes left, for example, against Illinois, Frank, he used to always like to get to the BigTen symbol. So for me, all game, I don't care where you go, you're not getting to this BigTen symbol. You know, so that's what, like little things like that is what kind of pushed me to being that type of defender. After my senior year, after the season was over with, I did summer league with the Wolves. I did summer league with the Heat. It didn't pan out. Funny story on that. At the time, summer leagues were done. I was back home in Mississippi at the time, and Coach Walker was actually recruiting another guy from my high school. So he gives me a call. He goes, "T, I'm going to be in your city looking at this player, blah, blah, blah. Let's go have lunch or something." We go have lunch, and he asked me what my plans are. Well, I had got invited back to the Heat preseason starts in October. I don't want to say vet camp. I wasn't a vet, but to camp to go in October. And he goes, "What if you don't make it?" You know, I was like, I don't know. I didn't have any plans, and for me, I wasn't educated on avenues on playing professionally, other than NBA type stuff. And he goes, "Well, a lot of guys are already going to Europe right now." You know, and it was August. I was saying, well, my agent said there's a good possibility that I could, you know, make practice squad or something. He was like, "But what if not?" You know, so I thought about that, and he told me to give my agent a call. I gave my agent a call, literally, and asked him about it, and he didn't give me no assurances. You know what I mean? I didn't feel, once I got off the phone with him, I was like, I don't know, what should I do? So I literally called Coach Walker back within the week. He goes, "I have this other friend of mine that he, you know, we talked earlier. He wanted me to sign with him after the season, but I didn't." And I talked to him, and he was, and I'm not exaggerating it at all. I think I talked to him like on that Wednesday, and he called me back maybe that Friday and was saying, "T, there's a team in Germany that wants you to come Tuesday." And I said, "Tuesday?" And it was Friday. No, that's nothing. I go tell my mom. And I was laughing because we had plans on me going down to Miami for the preseason stuff. I go to tell my mom, like, "Hey, I got this opportunity to go to Germany for 10 months, which is a salary for 10 months. But I have to leave Tuesday." She goes, "Tuesday?" She was like, it just went so fast. She was like, "It's Friday." I was like, "I know," you know. And so that's how I started my career in Europe. I went to USC Heidelberg. That was my first season in Europe. So I played 2 years in Germany, 2 years in Switzerland, a year in Ireland, 7 years in France, and 2 years in Monte Carlo. So I had a good run. Was able to pick up a little French. Moi, je parle français un peu. Pas beaucoup, mais un peu. So I just say, yeah, I speak a little French. Not a lot, but a little bit. So yeah, I had a pretty good career. I stopped playing at the age of 38. Yeah, 38. And so 2018, the summer of 2018, I came back to the States. What I would say this, as far as like the Europe, I won a championship in Monte Carlo. I won one in Ireland, and I went to the finals in Switzerland before. So that was a great experiences. Living in Europe has definitely opened my mind as far as like different cultures, different personalities, everything. I wouldn't trade that experience for the world. And I always tell people, now that I've gone to places, I always tell people, go visit other places. Go be around other cultures, other languages, because there's so much out there in this world that we don't understand because we're in our little bubble. You know, I'm a perfect example of that. Again, being from a small town, coming to Minnesota, you guys don't know, I talked to Kyle, the academic guy over at Bierman, and when I was coming back to get my degree, and I told him I wish there was somebody that could literally just analyze players to see what did they really have going on. You know what I mean? And I say that because I felt like for at least after high school, for at least 4 or 5 years, I was almost starstruck. You know what I mean? I was this young kid, forget the injuries, just being around a bigger city, trying to map my way around. For me, campus was huge. You know what I mean? Campus was huge. Forget everything else. Campus was huge. Then you have these roommates or your teammates, you really only see them doing practice. And then when you come back to the room, you guys are probably so tired. At least Terrence Simmons used to be tired all the time, you know? And but anyways, like I was saying, like there's so much going on within a kid that we probably wonder why he or she is maybe struggling on the court, or why he or she seems to be more reserved. You know what I mean? There's something behind that. So I kind of wish there was some kind of program that a coach, it doesn't have to be a coach, but somebody can literally just sit and analyze those type of individuals. Again, I was that person. But again, going to Europe, going to these different countries has definitely opened my mind, opened me up a lot. So when I moved back, trying to figure out what exactly I wanted to do, I was at Kirby High School in Memphis, Tennessee, working with at-risk youth, which was fun. It's something that I felt like I got pleasure out of. I gained helping kids that didn't have opportunities or were misguided. I would say misguided. Now, we do have some that you question if they had everything, would things be the same? You know, but there are a lot of them that were misguided. So I was doing that. Then COVID hits, you know, and I'm trying to figure out what exactly I wanted to do. So at the time, I have an uncle that has a trucking company, and he calls me up. He goes, "Hey T, you should come go with me to Jonesboro, Memphis. Jonesboro to Memphis, an hour and a half." So I hop in. I've never been in an 18-wheeler before in my life. I hop in with him. We go. He drops his load. He gets his paperwork, and we come back home. It literally took us about 5 hours. I'm sitting waiting, thinking we're about to do something else. You know, he was like, "Yeah, we're done." I was like, "That's all you do?" You know, because I know he's living really well. You know, like really well. I literally went to get my CDLs like a week later, literally 2 weeks later. So I trained in that for a month. And then I met some friends here in Minnesota. Well, first of all, I called back here about getting my degree because I wanted to finish down south. I didn't want to come back and have to worry about paying to go to the U and all this type of stuff. But anyway, I called and they got me to the basketball office. They were like, "No, we want you to finish here." And they told me all the stipulations to it. And I said, "Hey, I'll see you guys in 2 weeks." You know, so I came, and on my way here, before I got here, I had already started communicating with people about starting a trucking company. So me and one of my partners, the guy I was saying, Kerwin, we started a trucking company together, and we were hauling stuff from Long Prairie, Minnesota to Milwaukee. That lasted a good while, but for me, it had to have been faith. The reason I say that is because we ran through, the drivers were making really good money. One, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this, one said that he doesn't like to go to this certain yard because he messes up his shoes. And I am not exaggerating. A truck driver said that. So I'm not exaggerating. So I said, we got to get rid of him. And plus the owner of the company was getting frustrated too, because we're trying to cover him a little bit because we want to keep him driving. You know, we keep the wheels rolling, we're making money. But the big boss is getting a little frustrated with all this complaining. All right, I get another guy, and everything is going great. Great, I think. Anyways, I think, you know, but always he's getting tired in these certain areas. Going down the aisle, where I had come to find out there's a casino going that way. Okay, so he's not getting proper rest. So one day he comes back from there, then he has to go to Milwaukee, goes to Milwaukee, and on his way back, he crashes the truck on 94 West, 94, he was coming back, 94 West. And he literally had the whole 94 kind of blocked off. And 5 to 10 minutes later, a lady comes along and runs into the trailer. You know, and she had a kid on the inside of it. And Luckily, there were witnesses there, the people that helped him out of the truck, because the lady wanted to sue our company and the big company because of the truck incident. Well, once it got to court, we only heard it from it once. The judge go, "What were you doing if a truck is literally in the road for 10 minutes? What were you looking at?" Because she shouldn't have, there's no way, there is a way because it happened, but she shouldn't have, it shouldn't have happened if she must have been on the phone, she must have been drinking, something was going on. So for me, that was a sign of, I have to really get into something that I really love. And that goes into what I kind of do now, or what I do now as far as coaching. You guys know Rob Schoenrock. We used to play Word with Friends all the time on the phone when I was in Europe. We always playing Word with Friends, always. And when I get back, he's on social media. He makes a post about he's doing some training for his traveling basketball stuff. So I sent him a message, and my message was, "Hey, I can come up here and help on a Sunday if you want me to, because I love to be around it." I never thought about really coaching. Not seriously anyways. I did a little bit before I left France, just to test the waters. But anyways, after the practice, after the workout that Sunday, we're walking out. He tapped me on the shoulder. "So you're gonna take the 8th grade boys?" I was like, that wasn't the plan. I just wanted to help you out. So anyway, that season went really well. And after that season, some of the parents, the AD, and from the high school called me about taking the girls. And for me, if you guys know my personality, as far as playing, I'm kind of two different people. When I'm out here, I smile. When I'm playing, I don't know what happened. I know you guys can relate. Something happened. I don't know what happened. I just kind of, I don't know. I become a little dirty, a little cheap, a little, you know what I mean? I don't know how it happened. It happened. But I was saying to myself, there's no way I can coach girls because I would be too hard on them. And now this is my 4th season going in, I don't want to coach boys. And the reason is because I feel the girls go harder if they know you care about them, they feel that you're talking about, and they see the results. Where guys nowadays, I'm talking about, I feel they're so combative and they know everything. You know what I mean? I swear they know everything. I did some AAU, trying to see if I wanted to go back to the boys. Some AAU stuff with one of the AAU programs here this summer. And one of the guys, I was teaching them how to manipulate the pick and roll, And I told him about ball placement, foot jabs, just to throw the defense off balance. And I'm talking about something as simple as this. He was literally holding the ball like this, I said, I asked you guys to jab, I asked you guys to do, he said, what did he say? Something about I was trying to manipulate him by holding the ball right here. But it wasn't that simple. It was a bigger argument than that, or discussion than that. And I said right then, I think this will be my last time messing with the boys. Because I'm a purist as far as like basketball. I don't care how high you can jump. I don't care how many crossovers you can do. I don't care. Can you play good basketball? Can you make good passes? Can you rebound? Will you play with one another? All that type of stuff. That's basketball to me. Like today, I can't, and I don't want to knock it, but I can't watch the NBA, for example. Because I'm not with I'm not the person to watch it with either, trust me, because I don't be like, look at that, you can't do, I watch European basketball, I watch women basketball, I watch high school basketball, and I watch college basketball. That's what I do, because I can't stand the entertainment part of it. I feel like I put too much in it, I've dedicated too much of my life, been away from family, been away from friends for so long that I want to see some good basketball. Other than that, so after that, I'm here now. I coach out at St. Francis High School. I also work at a group home. With one of the group homes, we have kids with behavioral issues. In the other group home, I work with kids that have mental issues / trauma issues. And those are challenging things as well. I try to approach those jobs as though I'm not a know-it-all, or I'm not a stickler on trying to treat them as though they're in a facility. A lot of them are coming from a facility and they're trying to transition over. I do an approach, sort of differently. I'll give you an example. One of the kids, one of the things we have to do is when we get there, we make sure beds, room, and all that stuff is presentable before they can go play a video game, or before we go out and do programming. Programming consists of maybe library, maybe going to the Salvation Army, maybe going fish, whatever it is, before they can do those things. So I know we have some staff that would get there and, hey, did you clean your room? Go do this, And a lot of those kids, especially if they've come, the ones that have mental issues or trauma issues, those are pointers for them that kind of sets them off. Especially coming from a man, 9 times out of 10, a lot of them have been abused by a male. So that approach kind of causes friction in the place. And I will come in and do the exact same thing. I won't say the kid's name, but I will come in and hey man, look at your room, man. How are we gonna go somewhere in your room looking like this? And he was like, oh man, Travarus, and he'll literally go do it. I said the same thing, but differently. You know what I mean? So I get a pleasure out of that. And now I'm not finna sit here and say that it's all peaches and cream, because there's sometimes I go home and I'm like, man, I don't know, because some of those stories, it makes you look at people differently. Yeah, I don't want to go into that, but yeah, it makes you look at people a lot differently, But yeah, that's just the me. I have, I should have mentioned this earlier. I have a 27-year-old daughter. At the time, me and Kerwin actually we were college kids with a kid. So that's another thing that I feel like coaches or whoever should have dove into when dealing with me, because I had issues going on. I had a human being to take care of, and I made a decision to come 14 hours away, for a program, but I also have things going on back home that I needed to take care of. Yeah, me and Kerwin was the only one at the time with kids on the team. And so yeah, that's the gist of me. You guys, any questions?